To another episode of the Engine Room podcast. We've got some big news now that we've returned to club football. Potter is out. This has been a long time coming, so I can't wait to hear Pablo's thoughts on that. We'll also be talking about Newcastle. Are they Champions League ready, or do they need to maybe make some summer signings? We'll see what they need to do to prepare themselves for what is looking like a Champions League spot next year. We'll talk about some rumors that have now turned legitimate about Lionel Messi returning to Barcelona. What will Barcelona have to do to make that a reality? And then, of course, we will wrap up with a little El Clásico preview. Barcelona taking a 1-0 lead to the second leg of the Copa del Rey semifinal against Real Madrid. All that coming up today. But first, let's check in with the roomies, see how we're doing. Pablo, how are you feeling, sir?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I'm actually quite excited for today's episode because I think we've got a really good range of topics. And there should be some really good discussions, so hopefully the listeners and the viewers enjoy.
Yeah, and it seems like a cloud has lifted from Pablo, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Not really, maybe in football, yeah.
Buga, how we doing, sir?
I'm doing good. It was a hectic week, but it was a good weekend, and batteries are recharged.
Good.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
We're coming in with a fully charged Buga. I'm excited for this one. All right, well, let's start things out with the biggest headline coming out of the Premier League. Potter is out. Pablo, go.
Yeah, it's the right decision to sack Graham Potter from Chelsea. It really is. I mean, I never actually could get behind Potter at Chelsea. I really tried at first. I think part of that was because of how big of a fan of Thomas Tuchel I was. And I thought he shouldn't have gone. I thought he was the best thing that happened to Chelsea in the last 5 years, really. I thought he did an impeccable job and just fitted the club perfectly. So I really struggled to get behind Potter from the beginning, but I don't think Potter ever showed that he was capable of managing Chelsea Football Club. I really don't. I don't think he had the aura, the charisma, the way he spoke in the press conferences. And then even on the pitch where I thought he might be able to save himself with some good football that he showed at Brighton, he showed none of it. He never actually got the players playing how he wanted to. There was no tactical setup there. There was no grit. There was no fast attacking football. He didn't improve any players. He was getting signing after signing, even little breaks in the season, like with the Queen's death, international breaks, the World Cup. He had chances to get this team playing well and just didn't take any of them. And ultimately, we've seen nothing of any worth under Graham Potter at Chelsea. So, in my opinion, he had to go. He's not good enough for a club like Chelsea. He never was. And to be honest, I think it's just a relief for everyone at the club that he is now gone. And I mean, whatever the future holds for him, I wish him all the best. But unfortunately at Chelsea, there was never a moment where I thought, oh yeah, it's going to turn now. And even his best moments, I thought, were just playing Tuchel's 3-4-3 that the players already knew. I don't think there was anything new coming in from Potter. So, right call. I think, honestly, the only reason he stayed for this long is because Bodie was trying to prove that he's going for a long-term project. And already now 3 managers in his first full season is not going to look good in terms of this stability that they're trying to promote. I think that's the only reason Potter didn't go in January, because his results have been dreadful. What we've seen from Chelsea has been nothing short of abysmal. So he had to go, and he finally has now gone.
Finally, yes. This has been a long time coming. It seems like we're talking about it every week. Will this be the week? Will it finally be the time to turn the page away from Potter? I still maintain that this is some 3D chess by Bowley and that this was the plan all along. You brought in way too many fresh faces to this club for any manager to glue this team together in the short amount of time that we were looking at. So why burn a bridge by bringing in a big name that is also going to fail? Give it to somebody like a Potter who understands English Premier League, can keep it from completely collapsing, maybe not. But at the end of it, when it inevitably doesn't come together by the end of this season, there's your perfect scapegoat. Graham Potter. It's all his fault. Not big enough. Couldn't handle the personalities. Couldn't handle the big club. Get him out of here. Now you have the time to bring in a big name. They have all summer to work with the club, and it's a much easier task. So I gotta feel like this was the plan all along. Like this was inevitable.
Yeah, I cannot. After 2 episodes ago, when you say that, I was like, I don't know. I started to believe you. I don't know if it's the long hair. I don't know if it's the mustache. I don't know if it's the American kind of. Have you seen History Channel on that guy who was like, the pyramids were built by aliens?
Graham Hancock. It's just the American confidence. You just say it with confidence. That's all you got to do.
Sounds true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes sense. It makes sense because Graham Potter is like the guy, the easy one that you can blame everything on, and there's nothing really he can do. I feel it was always, there was never a right thing with me with him going to Chelsea. I was always positive. I think I was positive in his signing. I think I was the most positive between us three. I was saying that he needed time, that I always mentioned this to Pablo, that it was like the English thing. When you think of Chelsea, you think of like Stamford Bridge, you think of players like Lampard, Mason Mount, stuff like that. But look how
John
easily,
Terry.
how quickly we have deviated from that. Now it's like Mason Mount is like out the door basically. And I don't know what's that. Is that a Graham Potter doing? I don't know. But anyhow, I feel that it was not the right move. He went to Chelsea, but now I feel it was maybe a step too far. It was a step too far, a step too far for him to be able to control that. And there were certain news out there that players never really took him seriously. Some players had to look exactly who Graham Potter was. The constant puns with the Harry Potter franchise and things like that. It's like it never really settled, and you had to do something. And I feel that Tobolli finally realized that, and against Aston Villa was the perfect time to do it. I think that, like John says, it's sort of such a big number of players to bring together, and not a single, and no manager could be able to make this work. It's particularly halfway through the season. Halfway through the season, no manager can make this work.
Yeah. So now to continue with that theory, right? It's an impossible task for any manager to come in and get Chelsea back into Champions League contention, right? So now that those expectations are wiped away, you can bring in the big name that you want long term, and you have that grace period. No one expects the next manager to come in and turn this club around immediately. Everybody, like I said, has lowered those expectations. So I think that's actually a much easier seat for someone to come in and take over. So question is, who's that going to be? What do we think?
Well, I do think something that comes into it is a question that everyone is going to be asking, that is this just Abramovich's Chelsea then? Is this, hire and fire, no long-term project? Because I think that's the worst stain on all of this for Todd Boehly. And it's like I say, I think that's the only reason Potter is here till April, is because he was trying to promote this stability and this, no matter what, we're going to stick by the coach. I just think it got too bad. So that comes into who comes in, and what sort of profile Chelsea look for. And actually, will Chelsea Football Club in the 21st century be able to hire a manager and keep them for 3+ years? That has to be a question that comes into it, and that's got to be something that the managers on the market start thinking about too. I think there are some obvious names. I think that the first one we'll throw out is Julian Nagelsmann.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The second one is probably Luis Enrique. And I wouldn't really go any further than that, actually. I know there are others, like is it Amorim from Sporting, and you've got Pochettino, I know, as an option, but I wouldn't go either of those. I think I'd do either Luis Enrique or Nagelsmann. But like I say, the question comes in, do they want the job now? Would it be waiting for the summer? I think that's another question that needs to be brought up.
Yeah. I would want to wait till summer. If I'm taking over as Chelsea manager, I want to wait till the summer. Why rush? Why jump on this seemingly sinking ship right now when you know that life rafts are coming in the summer? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the worry for Chelsea is then they've appointed this Bruno Saltar, who was the right back at Brighton. And the whole point of sacking Potter, they said, is, well, we feel now we're going to be in a better place to go into the last 10 Premier League games, to go into Real Madrid. You can't tell me we're going into those games with Bruno as the coach. You cannot. So that would surely indicate that Chelsea are looking to bring in someone like Nagelsmann now. But like you say, does a coach like Nagelsmann or even Luis Enrique want to come in April? Would they rather wait until the summer?
Yeah. Who I'm forgetting the name, but I'm staring right at his face. Who was it that took over for Chelsea that brought him to the Champions League after Mourinho? That was the interim manager.
Gus Hiddink.
No.
Roberto Di Matteo?
Yes. I had the name Matteo in my head. Yes. That was 2012 or 13? Yeah.
12.
Is there any chance of that? Is there any chance that, these players all of a sudden get the freedom on the pitch and they can kind of rally in the Champions League, knowing that English Premier League is all but lost? Is there any hope of that?
I mean, Tuchel already did that, right? When he came in.
Yeah, but I'm talking about just an interim manager taking this club and sparking that, I don't even know, that change in mentality. You know what I mean?
Well, possibly, but it won't be under Bruno Soltar, that's for sure. I mean, because the thing about Di Matteo is Di Matteo had legs because he was a Chelsea legend and he knew the club. And kind of the whole thing when Di Matteo came in after, I think it was Villas-Boas that season, was he was going to say, right, we kind of played the rest of that season on we're Chelsea. That's why we're going to win. Like, because of the history of the club and like because we're winners, that's why we're going to win. And he brought all those players together like Terry, Drogba, Lampard, Mikel, and all those people and said, we're going to win. With Bruno Soltar, that's not going to happen. Bruno Soltar as a footballer was worse than each and every single one of the players in that Chelsea dressing room, even the younger guys. So he's got no legs to stand on in that regard. I think.
Oh my God, I just looked him up. And I remember.
Yeah, the guy who played for Brighton. He was like silver on FIFA. Like, is he? And also,
yes, silver.
He's part of Graham Potter's coaching staff. So I think that doesn't sit right either. If you're talking about the players didn't respect Potter, why would they respect this random right back who played under Potter? And then, is he younger than Thiago Silva as well? That comes into it. And I don't know. In my opinion, Chelsea should not be continuing the season with Bruno Soltar as the coach. And I don't think it'll be like a miracle. I think if we are to do some sort of miracle, it would be by getting in someone like a Nagelsmann.
I'm not really quite sure if Nagelsmann is the option either.
Okay.
I feel like it's almost too obvious to go Nagelsmann, but I don't know. I'm racking my brain, and I feel like there could be some curveball. Like something is telling me somebody like a Rafa Benitez is going to sneak out from behind the curtain and be like, "I'm back, everybody." It's not going to be him, but like I feel like there's somebody that we're overlooking. I don't know who it is, but there is some manager with Premier League experience that wants this job for the next few months that can come in. And I don't know who it is, but my spider senses are tingling that it's somebody.
You know who I think? I'm looking right now at Transfer Market, the players, and if this bird actually lets me talk. These are the options. I'm going to be quick, okay? Look at all the managers, the top managers.
Okay.
Potter says here first, but he's not going to come back. Nagelsmann, Joachim Low, Mauricio Pochettino, Luis Enrique, Antonio Conte, Zinedine Zidane, Frank de Boer, but then blah, blah, we go down. But there's one manager that I haven't mentioned that is the number one that has the biggest points per match record out there. And I would like this. What about Tite from Brazil? That he's no longer in a job and he goes to Chelsea. I like that.
That's a hard left away from the English representation that Chelsea has been aiming towards for sure.
I mean, can Tite speak English?
I don't know.
That would be that
way
would be
too good.
Do you think he's good, Tite?
I think he's good.
Okay.
What has he won with Brazil though? With all that talent?
A Copa America. But I think his team was like way too good overall whenever they played. I really do think that, because right now when I look at Chelsea's team, I think honestly you're built like for a back three, but I don't think a back three is the way to go.
Really?
I don't know. What about? And this is what I want your opinion. Who will be your like best three at the back right now?
Give me 3 players and Cucurella, and we're good.
Jesus.
My back three: Badiashile left centre back, Fofana right centre back, and Thiago Silva in the middle.
Really?
And then Reece James, Chilwell, Kovacic, Enzo, Felix, like Havertz, and then whoever else is on form in attack. Mount, I don't know, Mudryk, whoever. It's a top team.
You got options. That's one thing for sure. You got options at Chelsea.
They do, and I think it could suit Nagelsmann. I think he will take the job. It's whether he takes it now or in the summer, and I think that's who Chelsea will go for. I mean, what do you think about who do you guys think, Nagelsmann or Luis Enrique? Because I think it's got to be between those two. I just think Chelsea will go for Nagelsmann.
I don't see Luis Enrique taking it.
I don't see him either. Yeah. I think Luis Enrique is probably.
But I could see
him go to Tottenham.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I could see Luis Enrique going to Tottenham, and I could honestly see Pochettino to Chelsea as well. I like
Jesus Christ!
It's just,
you know why I like it? Because I feel Pochettino is the sort of manager that I think he's like a project manager, but also the one that if there's one thing I can give praise to Pochettino is that he manages to take a player and make him better, improve him in a way. And that's the only thing that I believe that right now that's what Chelsea players need, because it's like they need to find a system to make each of those players shine. Because right now it's like with Potter was like, you know what I mean? Like not a single player out there in the Chelsea team like could really be at their 100% in whatever Potter was trying to play, whatever tactically wise, right?
Well,
I like that. I honestly like Pochettino. I think it would be a good appointment because it's sort of at the right moment for this right player's career. That's what I think in my end.
Pablo, who do you want to see at Chelsea? Let's ask that question. Who do you want to be Chelsea's next manager?
Nagelsmann.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you want him to join sooner rather than later, or do you want him to come in the summer?
No, now I think. I think I want him now, actually, because I don't see the need to do this end of the season with Bruno as the coach. I think it'll just get ugly.
Yeah.
The results probably can't get much worse, but I just think the results will be the same, like one win every 9 games.
Yeah.
And I think Nagelsmann comes in now, then he gets all these people in the summer, like Nkunku, who he worked with before. And I just think it works. I think 3 at the back here. I think he'll look at the Chelsea squad and think, wow, I've got a whole host of options there. He was actually the guy I wanted when Lampard was sacked. And when Lampard was sacked in January 2021, my initial idea was interim till the end of the season, and then let's go Nagelsmann in the summer. And then we got Tuchel, and I thought, does that mean we've missed out on Nagelsmann now? I mean, that was wrong on that one, obviously, because Tuchel, I think, is a superior coach. But, that was my thinking. So I think Nagelsmann now suits it, and I would go for him. I think he's got the charisma as well and kind of that aura on the touchdown, which I think is important at Chelsea. Like he's a bit cocky and a bit of a personality, but I also think he's tactically smart and young and an innovator. So I'd go for him.
Yeah. As a impartial viewer, I would love if Nagelsmann was brought into Chelsea immediately. Chelsea beats Real Madrid, Bayern beats City, and it's Nagelsmann versus Tuchel, Chelsea versus Bayern in a Champions League semifinal. Let's go. I want to see that.
Yeah, I think Nagelsmann is, like you said, the kind of most clear option to go. I think you bought me with Nkunku coming later in the next season. I think that makes quite a bit of sense. So, yeah, I think if they can get Nagelsmann, it will be very good. I always like how Nagelsmann can use width and stuff like that. And I think that's mainly what Chelsea really have. And I think one of the players that could really be benefited from someone like Nagelsmann could be certainly Kai Havertz. I think he's a good player, but maybe benefiting from someone who could understand maybe how he plays a little bit more. Nagelsmann's teams, they always have a striker, but not really. So yeah, I think it could work. I think it's the most realistic option. How does Chelsea, and you know what? It makes sense because I think for Nagelsmann and Bayern, even though I'm trying to disrespect Chelsea, is the mentality of Bayern. They feel they are I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I think Bayern are way too egotistic and say okay, look at me, we're Bayern, we're mighty evil Bayern. The same with Real Madrid. And
is that how Bayern sounds?
Yes,
it is. Yeah.
So maybe that wasn't a fit for Nagelsmann because Nagelsmann is maybe a little more okay, I need a little bit of time to embed these players into my system, blah, 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 blah. I think at Chelsea, he can get away with it. Yeah. Maybe more than a team like Bayern.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Or does Chelsea also bad?
No, I mean, I don't know what it is, but there is something about Bayern that makes them seem like they're for the dark side. I don't know what it is, but I agree with you. They're not I don't know what it would be. They're not. I don't even know who to compare it to. Maybe it's just because we're Barcelona supporters and that's why they feel like they're the bad guy. that could be it. There could be some of that going on. Let's turn and talk a little bit about Bayern, though, because Tuchel has officially taken over, comes in right as Bayern lose the top spot to Dortmund, but then you have the match over the weekend and Bayern completely hate stomp Dortmund. Hot start for Tuchel. Where do you see him ending this season? Are Bayern going to have some success in domestic as well as Champions League? Is it going to be one or the other? What do we see for Tuchel and Bayern this season?
I feel this game, I was really excited for it because Dortmund were coming top. Dortmund could have potentially moved even clearer in the table, but at the end of the day, it's just I don't know what happened. They imploded. I want to talk about Dortmund, but let's talk about Bayern then. I think that Tuchel didn't have that much time to also embed his ideas into the team. He said that he wasn't going to have. He only had 4 training sessions before the game started. But I thought that we already saw maybe just what every fan really wanted. It's like he actually played with a back 4, right? So it's more like he put the right players in the right positions where they need to be. Not too many crazy additions. Correct back 4, then Kimmich, Goretzka, then have Sané, Coman, Müller, and then Choupo-Moting. It all makes sense. And I think that's where Tuchel is a good manager. I think he just makes things that are overcomplicated simple. And he's very effective in the way where he addresses his ideas very direct. I like that, but also, once again, he mentioned something very important at the end, and for me, that's a little bit worrying. I think that Tuchel could do the very same thing what he did to Chelsea, that he takes a team halfway through the season and maybe even reaches the Champions League final. Because he says his idea after the game was, okay, we did good, we won, but it was a wild game. We want even more control. And that obsession with control, I think, is what really takes you to the next level. And I saw it at Chelsea when they went on a run to the Champions League. I saw it some instances when even PSG reached the final. Let's keep that. He reached the final with PSG, right? So he's been the manager who has been the closest. And I think this Bayern team is just suited for a manager like him.
I think it's going to be a good matchup. I really do. There's something fitting about it. I think there's going to be a lot of success for Bayern. I'm sure that their supporters are pretty excited about this change. I know I'll say they will be excited. I shouldn't say they are excited because I know there was a lot of support for Nagelsmann. So I won't say it's complete, euphoria over there in Bayern's camp. But I think they do have the support of the fan base with Tuchel there.
Yeah.
Talk about Champions League. Let's keep it with Premier League because I'm actually a little bit excited about this next topic. Let's talk about Newcastle. Big win over United. They are now sitting in 3rd, level on points with United. So it's not over yet, but it's looking like they're going to get in Champions League. So my question is Newcastle Champions League ready? Come next season with the squad that they have, are they ready to take on European competition or they need to maybe look to the transfer market this summer? How ready is Newcastle for Champions League?
They'll need to bolster the squad in the summer. I think. I don't think they can go to Champions League with this squad. I think at the moment it suits them the fact that they'll only have to play, roughly once a week anyway. So they will have to improve the team. But what they've done is so impressive. Actually, it's been a brilliant takeover so far. I think it's happened to the right club as well. But to be fair to the Saudis who've come in, they've done a very good job. I must say the way they've structured. I know a lot of people say that, but it must be said because they haven't gone all out. They've spent the money in the right areas. They've built a project around Eddie Howe. But I mean, even then, you might still expect Newcastle to be an 8th or something. Doing better. But how well they've done it's so good. I mean, and I couldn't believe that their win over Man U yesterday meant that they went 3rd, level on points with Man U, same games played. I thought Man U were clear. I mean, that says more about Man U than Newcastle, but yeah, massive result for them. And I think I'm always a bit skeptical about them getting top 4, but they're in a good spot now. And I think they're in a good spot because they've got teams like Tottenham chasing them. And you kind of want to be in a race against a team like Tottenham because they're going to slip up. So that's not bad news for Newcastle at all. So at the moment, looking really good for them. What they've done with the project is so impressive. But if they want to be in Champions League next season, that is going to be a wake-up call and a half. That really is. So they will have to do work in the summer. And I think it suits them at the moment this season. So that they're going to have to make a big switch if they want to be able to be that team that can compete in the Premier League and Champions League.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. It's definitely a question of depth for me. I'm hesitant to say that they need to make huge summer signings for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One, I think you can look at teams like AC Milan and Napoli right now that also don't have the big name superstars necessarily, but have built a solid team that plays together. It relies on chemistry. I think you look at those 2 clubs as an example for Newcastle to kind of shoot towards, because if you bring in the wrong big names, it can upset that balance. It can upset all the work that you've put together building this team. I mean, if you look at their current squad, who's the biggest name for? Is it Kieran Trippier? Is it Miguel Almiron? Like, are those the biggest names for Newcastle right now? They don't have superstars at their club. You know what I mean? They don't have those huge names. So will they need to build their depth a little bit? Yes, but I think that's the goal, is to build depth, not necessarily bring in a superstar who's going to be the new face of the club or change the chemistry of this club. I think they've got to keep those building blocks moving forward.
Yeah, I think the key, you said it there, John. I think that Newcastle is this unit, this team really that works hard. And when you take a look at like how Pablo was saying, it's an incredible achievement. It's really an incredible achievement. You have Eddie Howe, a manager that previously was managing what? What was managing Bournemouth? Or there was Bournemouth, right? Has to be Bournemouth.
Yeah, that was his last job now, yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was maybe one in the middle, but anyhow, Eddie Howe. We come back and he's like he's third now in the Premier League. He has this team that works hard, and like John was saying, the signings that they make, when you take a look at them, I have the squad here. Like, which player out there you can say like it's really that big of a sign? You have like me like Dan Burns, Ben Botman, Kieran Trippier, Bruno Guimaraes, Nick Pope. These are all signings. Even an Alexander Isak. These are all signings that fit right into the sort of level of Newcastle, but particularly don't take them to the next one, but not in a bad way. I mean, like in a good one, because they're particularly fitting in quite well. They don't have the pressure that maybe other big money signings have. That is to immediately sort of provide, and that sometimes brings like the end of the signings for those players as well. So I feel that's particularly where they need to move forward for the next season. I think it was a great result against Man United, and Newcastle right now are looking at a good, solid team of football. And this is what reminds me of how football was maybe like 10 years ago, when just a solid project can move you forward if you have the right amount of money. But now look what it took. It took a massive Saudi takeover, right? So more of this, please, because this is what football was before in my eyes.
More Saudi takeovers.
more correct planning and roadmaps. That's what I want. I think Newcastle in a good, really, really good position. And it's just surprising to see, honest. Like, look at that. They have Sean Longstaff and Jacob Murphy, like beating Man United. These are players like even Willock. Eddie Howe's done an incredible job to make these players play this sort of level that they have. They have the Leaning Tower of Pisa playing left back, like in Dan Burns. So, I don't know. Incredible kudos to them. I really, really like this team, and let's see what they can do in the Champions League, because they do deserve that. And for Man United, quickly, 47 at this stage of the season. Ralph Ragnick had 47 points. Ten Hag at this stage of the season has 50. So how much really does it change?
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a graphic earlier on Twitter with that as well. And here's what I'll say though. Go ahead, Pablo.
No, sorry, just before you, Man U this stage last season had 47 points.
Yes.
This season they got 50.
Yes.
That's a massive indicator of how poor the Premier League is this season, by the way. Because Man U last season were right down.
Yeah.
Now they're the third best team in the country.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's the reason why I think also Newcastle, United, like, are in this running. Like, if Liverpool actually were doing good, they wouldn't happen. If Chelsea were doing it, this wouldn't happen. If Tottenham was even particularly decent, it wouldn't happen. That's what I think right now every single team is upside down. Like Fulham, what are Fulham right now in the table? I know they lost against Bournemouth, but
Fulham right now are 10th.
That's what I mean. Like, but between there we have Aston Villa, we have Brentford, we have Brighton. Like this shouldn't really happen. But
it is a bit of a it's a bit of a unique year. And I guess for me, I'm questioning whether are the big clubs slipping up or are the smaller clubs catching up because of all the money that's in the Premier League right now. I think we've talked about it before, but in terms of attracting top global talent, Premier League's number one. They've got the biggest reach. I don't have all the stats for which league has the most money, but I gotta think club to club, Premier League is the most financially ready to bring in the talent. Right?
I saw something that Thierry Henry said that it was interesting because they were doing a discussion on CBS Golazo about the Super League, right? And he said, technically, the Premier League already is a Super League. Like, it already is a Super League. It's like you just want money, kind of put it where you want, and you get the player that you need. Yeah. And I think that's a sort of thing that is kind of ruining it in a way. Not because, at the end of the day, it's not still like a Spanish team can be more competitive in the Champions League or in European competitions. An Italian team this season, you always manage to find ways to compete. But in the long run of things,
oh my days.
Every week, let's go.
But
there it is. We gotta come up with some. Yeah, we gotta come up with some. I don't know if it's a drinking game or what, but we'll go with Pablo's alarm, birds for Buga. I don't know what mine will be. We'll figure out something for me, but we'll have our own little Ruby's drinking game before too long.
But yes, I think I don't know. The Premier League, is it really the Super League at this stage? It has to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you think about it, it's I'm in agreement with that. It's like, the most
Arsenal
fun league
wouldn't
to
be
watch
first,
as well.
No, when Manchester City are doing good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good problem to have. I think having this much talent in a league, I'm okay with it. Let's turn our attention though outside of the Premier League, because we now have what is looking like some legitimate news around Messi maybe coming back to Barcelona. I mean, the rumors haven't stopped, right? Since he left, since he pulled out a PSG jersey, there's been talks, there's been rumors about if and when 2023, will he come back? But now we're starting to see Yuste has made contact. Xavi has come out and said that he talks to Messi all the time. We're starting to see some wheels turning. So we could talk about will he, won't he, in terms of Messi returning to Barcelona. But I'm more curious about if he does, what does that do for the progress that Barcelona has made in terms of bringing up some of these young players? How will Barcelona line up fitting in a Lionel Messi who prefers to play on the right side when Barcelona already have Dembele, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, who prefer that right wing? So what happens if Lionel Messi comes back? That's what I'm curious about. Pablo, what do you think?
I'm skeptical about turning on my mic. There might be one more round of these beeps, so if it comes on, I apologise. I like that angle because I think the return is getting incredibly closer. I was always someone who was a bit skeptical about whether it will happen or not, and maybe there we go.
There it is, Buga. Why don't we get your thoughts?
It stopped. I think.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
I mean, like I say, I didn't know whether it was going to happen or not. Now it's actually looking incredibly likely, and I think it's unbelievable, actually, the amount of progress that's being made in it. But Barca themselves should be asking that question as to whether this is something we should actually be doing. I think the thing is, I don't think it's a question that they will be asking, and there we go. That should be that. Because I'm almost certain Laporta and Xavi are just set on, if we can do it, we're going to do it. But the question has to be asked, where will Messi play? We've heard he'll play as the fourth midfielder in the 4-4-2.
That's what I think.
That could work, but surely if we're playing the 4-4-2, the most advanced midfielder is on the left, no? So we either have like Busquets, De Jong, and like Gavi, and then like Pedri on the left, or Busquets, De Jong, Pedri, and Gavi on the left. Messi can't go on the left, no, because it's always like Dembele or Rafinha plus Lewandowski, right? So Messi as the fourth midfielder really would kind of be in the Lewandowski and Dembele zone, but Lewandowski and Dembele would still be on the pitch, so you kind of have like that with the other three. So I wonder how it would work on the pitch, and I wonder how much emphasis Messi would have on the pitch. Would it all be, Messi's Barcelona again? Get the ball to Messi. We're in trouble, get it to Messi. Things going wrong, get it to Messi. Messi. Cutbacks to Messi. Everyone plays for Messi. No one has their own individual style anymore. That'll be a question. I do think he'd have to buy in, I think, to the pressing a bit, but
that would be so wrong. If Barcelona start doing that, it would be so wrong. Because I think even this Messi is a little bit different. I think this Messi that we see now at the final stage of his career is just like, you know what? I'm the best freaking player in history. When I want to show up, I'm going to show up. I think that's That's kind of the mentality right now of him. Like, he's not. That's not a bad thing to do. If you have a great team that can play for maybe 90 minutes at the best of levels, and then you have this player on top of it that at one moment can bam, create like a wall, and then like take out a defender, and then score a golazo. That's fine with me. The thing is that bringing Messi back, and like we were talking about it when Pablo was being a bit more tactical, it shifts us entirely what this team has been building, but particularly in one area of the field, and that would be attack, where I think this Barcelona team is maybe lacking the most. I think in attack is where this team still can try different things, because the extra midfielder doesn't really sit, in my opinion, well with me. One thing that would happen, though, is that Messi doesn't have that kind of idea to constantly overlap through outside. He does never do that. He always cuts inside. Then we would need a proper right back, because to be able to overlap, it shifts his entire mentality, because we normally have Koundé that tucks inside and then Valde moves further forward, and then Dembélé just has that ability to overlap. So with Messi coming in, Dembélé will have to go to the left, and then Valde wouldn't be able to attack as much. And then our right wing will be just like static, because there will be no constant width through that side. So there's a lot of things that just bringing Messi back could shift. The other thing would be, I guess, Messi could play a little bit more centrally like a center forward, but then what happens with Lewandowski? That's another idea, maybe. Maybe Lewandowski plays as an extra midfield. Maybe Lewandowski on the left. It reminds me like I had this same, I don't know about you guys, but this same dilemma when Suarez came in. Remember that Suarez started playing right wing?
Yeah.
And then we had to like, swap.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something like that.
I'm very concerned about the changes we would need to make to fit in Lionel Messi, because what you all said, he is going to play either centrally or on the right-hand side. He doesn't play on the left. And I know there's been some talks about him playing as like a right interior. No, Messi's not going to be a box-to-box midfielder. He's not going to be in a position where he's going to be asked to play any sort of defensive football. Yeah. So if I'm looking at here's what I want to bring up. Yeah. I'm scared that we're going to go back to a 2018 style Barcelona when it was Messi and Suarez up top and we had no pace. We had midfielders behind them, but we had no pace, no counterattack threat. And that's what led to Liverpool. That's what led to Roma before that. It's been, and Bayern, all the biggest defeats have been because Barcelona have lacked pace up top. When you look at the second leg against Liverpool, there was no Dembele, and that was the difference. Liverpool could press as high as they wanted, knowing that Suarez and Messi are not going to beat them in behind. Yeah. If we make changes with Lionel Messi coming back, and it's something like Lewandowski with Messi on the right and Gavi playing that left attacking mid, we're in the same situation. There's no pace for us to threaten with, and we're just going to get high pressed to death. So I think for me, you have to figure out a way to keep either Rafinha or Dembele on the pitch if you're going to have Lewandowski and Messi. So you'd have to get pretty creative. Maybe it's a 3-back situation and you put Balde wide left and you have Dembele wide right. That gives you pace on the wings. You could have Lewandowski at striker, Messi maybe playing underneath him, drifting a little bit to that right-hand side. Mm-hmm. So that gives us Balde, Dembele, Lewandowski, Messi. You have what? Busquets and De Jong.
Pedri, Gavi. One of Busquets, Pedri, Gavi, and De Jong would be the one that needs to miss out on that one. Yeah. Which ideally, in my eyes, is, I guess, the right move at the end of the day, because I always thought Busquets was going to leave this season, but it also feels like he's going to stay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they could do that, and then it can shift, obviously. You know, Koundé can kind of come over to the right, Balde can come deeper.
Yeah. That's the one that I think could work. Yep.
Here's my next question. Dembele will be entering the last year of his contract come next season. If Lionel Messi returns to Barcelona, do you think Dembele stays? If I'm Dembele I've been waiting for my moment for Barcelona. It seemed like this year was finally it. I finally, up until this most recent injury, gotten over those injury woes, proven myself to this fan base after the contract drama. But now he picks up another injury. He's been out for some time. Rafinha has stepped up.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi might be coming back. If I'm Dembele, I might be going, you know what? Forget it. If you guys aren't going to invest in me now, if you're still looking at bringing back Lionel Messi, who's going to cut into my playing time, then maybe this isn't the place for me.
Yeah. Well, that's a fair point to make, but Barcelona cannot go away from the wingers. The wingers was what we never had as far as a Messi, like you said, John. Even when Messi was so good, we never had the natural width on the wings, and it was one of the key principles that Xavi from Qatar, from all of what he heard from Pep, was that he wanted to bring back. You know, we see how Man City play, that's so wide, and that's how Barca have been playing as well. We cannot go away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But it becomes an issue though. If Messi is playing in that kind of, you know, right striker role, you can't have like you can't have Messi, Dembele, Lewandowski all kind of on top of each other on the right in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would need to be balanced in some way. If you could have Lewandowski central, Messi as a right attacking mid, and Dembele wide right. But you're so shifted over to that side. It's not going to be a traditional formation if Lionel Messi comes back. I think we can say that confidently.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who... The other question is how because this changes quite a lot. For how long will Messi return to Barcelona? What will be the contract? Because that's the thing. If it's like a last dance 1 year thing, it's like, let's freaking make it work. Let's try to win as many titles as we can. Let's just do whatever we can to make it work. Some player is going to miss out on the starting lineup. I don't know. That's one sort of. But if the idea is Messi coming back for like 2 years or something like that, 3 years, it will be like, does he really needs to be the starter that he once was? I mean, he could be like two players could have like, Messi can have 55% of the season, 60% of the season, and the other has 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
that is a fair point. Like Messi doesn't need to play every week and multiple times a week. That is a fair point. Like we could
Messi
use
doesn't
him
need to play
for the
against
big matches.
Elche away, like how we did the other day.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, if he wants to play, sure, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
That's a fair point.
I just think once he's back, we know what Xavi's going to do now.
I don't think Xavi will be.
Messi's not going to be on that bench. I'll tell you that for free.
I don't think Xavi will
exclusive
suck Messi off as much as we think he will.
Okay,
that's my prediction.
Know.
That's my prediction. I think. I don't know. I think that's what my idea. That's what I feel. I feel am I wrong? As I speak, I feel I'm more wrong.
I mean, look. He might rotate him, but probably only as much as he rotates Lewandowski now. I think if he's playing 34, 35-year-old Lewandowski, he's going to play 35, 36-year-old Messi. It's going to happen. Bringing Messi back is such an odd one. It's something I want so much sentimentally. I can't help when I see the tweets. I love it.
Messi is right,
thinking rationally. It's a bit like bringing back like an ex, isn't it? Like you can't help it. But then there is something deep down that makes you think that this is the wrong decision, isn't there? Like we've made all this progress. We're just going to go back to it because we want that feeling again.
It's almost like it would be better if Messi didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the fact that we knew we messed up letting him go.
Yeah.
And even though we've moved on, there's that part of us that wants that fairy tale ending.
Yeah.
You know, but the problem is you gotta potentially ruin the story that you've been working on.
Yeah.
To go back to that fairy tale ending.
It's tough. He was a very good ex. But
very good ex. Yeah. He'll always be the what if for us, you know.
The thing is that like I don't think only just Barcelona fans want this. Like I think the entire world of football is like what they need.
Yeah.
Messi at PSG doesn't really make sense. And it's already been 2 years, but it's still like you still be thinking like what if what can happen?
Yeah.
Messi bringing back to Barcelona and winning the Champions League. That's like just ends the football right there. The sport ends. So I don't know. I'm like you guys. I feel like if Lewandowski wasn't in this team, that would be way more easier because he could just play center forward and that's it.
Sure. I'd be with you on that. Yeah. And maybe that's the answer. I know Lewandowski is a
what if
fitness
Messi
machine, but
is like the Aubameyang that we want? You know, like the backup to Lewandowski.
well, that's what I was going to say. Like with Lewandowski turning 36 next year, right? There's Lewandowski and Ibrahimovic, and then there's regular humans. So he can play as long as he wants. But you have Messi, you have Lewandowski, you rotate the two. Sometimes they're on the pitch together, but that's not the go-to formation. I could see that working out. That might be the simple solution that we're overlooking, is that we've got two 35-plus-year-old center forward attacking players. Why not just rotate those two? That could be it.
I just feel like it gives Barcelona the chance to be way more have way more variety in their tactics. Like we have seen certain occasions where like it's Frankie, Kessie, like a double pivot, and it works really good because there's like a attacking player in front of them, be Pedri. This could be like Messi. Yeah. Like you can have Lewandowski, then Messi behind him, Frankie and Kessie double pivot, Dembele on the right, and then on the left have a Gavi, and it makes sense. It works, you know. Yeah. It's just you need to be able to build. Right now, I feel this Barcelona team has the right pieces to make any situation work. But it's only if Xavi has the balls to drop a player to make that work. Like a Pedri wouldn't precisely work on that like 4-2-3-1. But then if you want to play like 4-3-3, you have to drop one of Messi, Lewandowski. And, you know, he needs to have the balls to be able to make those decisions. But if every player understands that, I feel it would work out. Because like I can do it in my FIFA career mode, I can drop when I care, when I want.
Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the move, right? Xavi addresses the group. He says, "Hey, Lionel Messi is coming back. We are doing a last run for this season. We're going to prioritize Lionel Messi. We're going to prioritize winning every trophy we can. Some of you are going to sacrifice playing time for this season to make that happen. Come next season, we are right back to building from the ground up. Lionel Messi will ride off into the sunset. We'll be right back where we were. Rafinha and Dembele can fight it out for the right wing, so on and so forth." I think if he frames this as a last run that, you know, will be a shift, but not a permanent shift, I think he can make it happen. Before we get to any of that, folks, we're getting ahead of ourselves because we've got El Clásico second leg, Copa del Rey, coming up. And Barcelona have a lot of injuries. No Pedri, no Dembele, no Frankie de Jong, no Christensen for this one because of their injuries over the international break. So Barcelona limped in to the Bernabeu for the first leg, snuck out with a 1-0 victory. What happens in leg 2, gentlemen? Buga, why don't we start with you for this one?
I'm really nervous about it because I mean Real Madrid come out of winning 6-0, and I feel that they're gonna have that confidence, and it will be amazing for us to shut them down. But if there's one thing that Real Madrid is really good at, is like galvanizing the exact confidence and makes them feel that they're the best team in the world. I feel that Barcelona right now are a little bit too maybe riddled with injuries to be able to have a proposition attacking wise as good as we did. It's going to be very similar, I think, to the first leg of the Copa del Rey. But I feel this game will decide quite a bit. I think it really can decide quite a bit. If we can put a little bit of cement, a little bit of doubt on Real Madrid, if Barcelona can just beat them and get to the Copa del Rey, it's like almost you're guaranteed to have a better season if Real Madrid doesn't win the Champions League. That's it. So I feel you need to take an opportunity like this one. And the reality is, how are we going to be able to do that? Balance the pressure of being playing at home, but also having the pressure not to play over attacking and be just eaten up by Real Madrid. So I kind of want to know your opinion on that, guys. And what would be your front three? Would you play with an extra midfielder? Would you go with a normal regular 4-3-3? Because in my eyes, I would go with a normal regular 4-3-3. That's what I would do.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the lineup from the first leg. We had Gavi, Ferran Torres, and Rafinha. We had Franck Kessié, Busquets, and Frankie. And then Balde, Alonso, Koundé, and Araujo. With, of course, the trusty Ter Stegen with his brand new hairdo between the posts. I would, I would of course put Lewandowski in for Ferran Torres.
Yeah.
You'd have to slide in somebody for Frankie de Jong. I would probably put Gavi back in the midfield and put Ansu up top.
Yeah.
So I think I'm with Buga and going with a 4-3-3 on this one because the alternative is that you got to play Sergio Roberto in the midfield. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
We all know that Xavi's going to do that.
Yeah. Do you think Rafinha will come straight back in for Ferran and Ansu?
I would.
Good question.
But
But
I definitely
yes.
would. I definitely would. He should.
Yeah.
He should.
I think.
Yeah.
My
I could
team
see
would
him. Go ahead, Buga.
Now I was gonna say quickly. My team would be the only defense that there can be: Balde, Alonso, Koundé, and Araujo.
Yeah.
I feel the midfield three would be Busquets. Busquets is available, right?
Yep.
Busquets, Gavi, and Kessie,
Okay.
and then I have Lewandowski, Ansu Fati, and Rafinha. But I could see Ansu Fati being dropped, Gavi on the left wing, and then Roberto in the midfield as well.
Yeah. That's
I don't mind.
probably going to be it.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be.
Xavi's played for midfield against Madrid every time he's played him.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Ever
If
since
I'm not mistaken.
this season.
But bar the 3-1 defeat, we played 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm leaning towards it's going to be a Roberto in the midfield,
Yeah.
Gavi on that left attacking mid.
I think especially with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
think
that's the other thing too.
I mean,
I just really wanted Ansu to do something, please.
And bring him off the bench. Bring him off the bench. I mean, I'm with you on that one. I'm
We didn't
rooting for
mention it
Ansu.
before. If Messi comes in, does it mean Ansu is out?
I think Ansu actually benefits the most if Messi comes back because that draws a lot of attention off of Ansu. He'll lose to number 10.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of pressure off of him. And if Messi comes back and he's playing on that right-hand side, a lot of the defensive pressure goes to that side as well. And if Ansu Fati's on that left wing, you know what I'm saying? I think he reaps the benefits of Lionel Messi.
I think
returning.
Ansu needs to play a Clásico. That's my bold take.
We'll see. I think he gets on the pitch. I just don't know if he starts.
Yeah.
We need him
It's
to work
going to be a really interesting one. There's no Vinicius Jr., is that right?
Really?
Well,
Is that accurate?
he was suspended in the first leg. Now, am I not wrong?
Yes, you're right. If it's not Vinicius, if there's no Vinicius, don't you think that maybe it's
Huge.
Araujo and Koundé as a center back and then Roberto as a right back?
It's a good shout, but it's a really good point. Do you reckon?
Because
Yeah.
I think honestly, the only reason why Araujo plays right back is because of Vinicius. Like the
It
only
is.
reason.
Yes,
It's
100%.
the only reason. So if there's no Vinicius, I could
but if-
totally see maybe just Roberto being there as a right back, because
I don't know.
or Koundé as a right back. And
Yeah,
then have
I
Araujo
think-
as center
I-
back.
Yes,
I think
keep
Koundé
Koundé.
right back. No.
Yes, keep Koundé
Koundé
because
right-
they'll still have Fede Valverde on the right and probably Rodrigo on the left. Right, still a pacey winger. So
Do you
I'm
think Rodrigo will
not
be on the
confident.
left?
I don't know.
I think so.
How do they
I
play
know
against?
he typically plays right, but that you're not going to move Fede Valverde over to the left.
I haven't seen them play without Vinicius, so I'm really intrigued to see how they're going to line up.
Yeah,
It'll probably be like
too.
they might actually just do a false left winger and have like Benzema and Rodrigo up front, and then midfield four of like Valverde, Modric. I don't know.
I think
Camavinga
what
and Cruz, I don't know.
Ancelotti will do is play Rodrigo way more centrally and have Benzema on the left, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, that
That's what
means
he would
that means we don't need Araujo right back then. Let's just
that's what I mean. We don't need Araujo,
Yeah.
and I'm honestly thinking maybe just Roberto right back could be the answer, because that it could give you the a little bit more of if there's one thing Roberto can give you in my eyes, in my books, is just retain the ball a little bit more. I think that's the one thing he can give you. You know, like keep the ball.
Who's going to be Real Madrid's left back? Is it Nacho or Mendy or Alaba?
Camavinga,
It'll be
I think.
Nacho
Camavinga.
at left back.
Yeah, he's been playing left back there because there's no I'm looking at their squad right now before in La Liga, and there was no Nacho there. I don't have no idea why. There was Nacho. There was no Nacho.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had Lucas Vázquez, Eder Militao, Alaba, and Camavinga. Mendy is injured again. I know that. Rudiger was not there. I don't know why.
I think
I wanna
Nacho might have been suspended for La Liga.
Maybe I'm looking at other pages, but keep talking. I'm gonna find the answer.
Well, let's jump to predictions then as we wrap up this episode. What are your thoughts, Pablo? What do you got for the second leg?
God, I think it's going to be tight because I think Real Madrid are due a little bit of something.
They're due a win. They're due a win.
They are. It's,
they are due a win.
I mean, what is it? We've won 3 out of 3 in 2023, right? Like it's all gone our way. And to be fair, I think deservedly, I do think this season, Barcelona footballing wise, and it's what makes me quite confident for Wednesday night. I think we've been incredibly superior to Real Madrid. And I watch Real Madrid in some Clásicos now. I think that can't be Real Madrid. They weren't good enough for so many. I mean, I think the one that stood out to me maybe was the 1-0 defeat in the Copa where we all thought we were losing and they didn't have a shot on target. That for me, I thought, they're really not good at all. And even for a lot of spells in the 2-1 La Liga win, I thought, God, they're poor. So without Vinicius, Barca have to take advantage of it. We're missing a lot of players again. Maybe I'll go like a 1-1.
1-1 would be, that's enough. That would be enough.
Yeah, it's enough. Yeah.
I'm having a hard time believing that we're gonna keep another clean sheet.
Yeah,
because in leg 1 we did give up 13 shots. None of them went on target.
Did we? Yeah.
But we did give up 13 shots. But no Vinny Jr. though. No Vinny Jr. I'm going 0-0 for this one. I'm saying Xavi comes in and he says, "Boys, we're gonna get through this one ugly.
Yeah,
we're gonna move through and move on. 0-0 at home, but hanging on just by a hair."
I don't know. I feel that we haven't talked about Real Madrid. I feel that Real Madrid, they are gonna. I'm not saying they're gonna win, but I think like they don't have much to fight for to save the season. So I feel they, just for pride and whatnot, I feel the way that I've seen the media and everything talk behind Real Madrid and the players themselves, even Ancelotti, it's like they've put all their eggs for this game, all their eggs in the basket of this game. And I feel that they're gonna like try to really play their skins off for this game, because even the first leg, I don't think they had that sort of idea, that sort of mentality. But that's where maybe Barcelona can take advantage of that, because it's now them with the pressure rather than us. You know, right now Barcelona, if we 0-0, 1-1, doesn't really matter. We get through and we win. It's sort of like expected for Barcelona to win this one and already in Copa del Rey final. It's like people already think like Barcelona are better than Real Madrid in this sense. You know, in the sense that you've seen the memes of like Bayern beats Barca, Barca beats Real Madrid, and Real Madrid beats Bayern. You know, so I feel that that's a little bit. That Real Madrid don't like that. So maybe I could go. What happens if Real Madrid wins 1-0? Do we have extra time and then we go to penalty?
Yep.
I had a question as well. Are there away goals or no?
No away
I don't
goals.
know.
Okay, so if they win 2-1, extra time again?
Yes.
I could see Real Madrid winning 2-1.
Yeah, and going to extra time.
Yeah,
I'll say this.
I don't know what happens then.
If they win 2-1 and it goes into extra time, I think Real Madrid win.
Yeah.
I think if it's 1-0 and goes into extra time, I think Barcelona can do it. But if Real Madrid score 2 in regular time, I think extra time is going to be too much for us, because the injuries, the lack of depth, we're not going to be able to bring people off the bench.
Good point, yeah. I mean, I've just got the image of Asensio putting them 2-1 up in the La Liga game, and I just think that the sort of decision could go for them this time. That could be 2-1.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's
I feel that game will be very similar to this game. Will be very similar to that one. In that I could totally see like Rodrigo scoring like a shit.
Yeah, Rodrigo's going to score. I think on Wednesday. I think Rodrigo's scoring on Wednesday.
A very like scrappy goal for the very first minute. In like minute 13, Rodrigo puts them 1-0 up, and then it's Barcelona like trying to plow their way through. And honestly, a 1-0 easy for. The difference is that a 1-0 for Real Madrid benefits them massively, because now Barcelona is like, we don't have to push because we're equal, but we also kind of have to because we're at home. We have to equalize in full time. But Real Madrid only has to then score again. That's in La Liga was a little bit different, because Barcelona could play with a draw. But now it's like I feel that could benefit them way more. But I don't know. Honestly, that's why I kind of feel the 4-3-3. Maybe Xavi will be like, you know what? Let's just attack and see what happens. Because like you say, no Vinicius.
Take the game to them. Yeah.
Take the game to them. Maybe just put Roberto right back. No more 4-3-3. Have an extra winger. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we will see what happens. That match is coming up in a couple of days. We, of course, will recap it in next week's episode. But I think that's going to do it for today. We talked about Potter out. We talked about Newcastle and their Champions League readiness. Talked about a messy return to Barcelona. And then, of course, this El Clasico preview. Anything to wrap us up on, fellas?
No. I just want to say, it was my twisted take where you forgot about it, but it doesn't really matter.
Well, Buga, sometimes you say you have a twisted take, and then we say, Buga, what's your twisted take? And you're like, I'll save it, or no, I don't want to say it, or so you manage your own twisted takes from now on, Buga.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm happy that I was really like did we talk about the draw of the Champions League? I don't know if we ever did. We did. We have one side, we have the big teams, right? Chelsea, Manchester City, Bayern, and the other one we have Milan, Napoli, Inter, and Benfica. I'm excited to see that. I feel that's going to be a little bit more exciting because Milan beat 4-0 Napoli in the Serie A. So I feel they saved the day in the sense that they make now that side a little bit more interesting. You know, because it's like, okay, it's not just Napoli going to be destroying them because that's going to play with them mentally.
It is an opportunity for Serie A and those clubs to reestablish themselves. I mean, I still look back to the early aughts, as they say, 2004 to 2007, 8. I think of those Milan teams, right? I think of Kaká and Shevchenko and Cafu and Maldini, right? Those were big name stars, and it brought the club up to that elite level. When you look at the Italian sides now, they're not at the same level as a Bayern Munich, a Real Madrid, a Man United. Like, the Italian sides are not up to that status. This year could bring them back to that level, I think.
Yeah, I'm just hoping. I was just hoping, like, finally, okay, this makes it suddenly more interesting. Just for me, like now on whenever that game happens, I'm gonna be a little more interesting. I just think that's.
I'm with you.
Like, honestly, I would, as much as I would love Napoli to reach the final, I would love to see a Milan Inter in the semifinals.
Yeah,
that would be massive. Like, that would be still like that's just worth a watch.
Yeah. Well, we will, of course, be discussing that next week. We'll do a little preview. That'll be a day before Champions League returns. So tune in next week. We'll do a little Champions League preview. We'll talk about everything else that comes up. I'll leave us on this, folks. FC Cincinnati, another win.
Wow, really?
Stoppage. Yeah. Let's go, baby. Stoppage time goal from Yerson Mosquera, our left center back. Header off of a corner.
Me too.
I actually know who that is.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
All right. Well, yeah, he is FC Cincinnati proud. Got I believe his first goal for the club. Ended up being a winner. It was downpour, raining late Saturday night, but the boys came through. Big 3 points. We are now top of the league. Let's go.
He's on loan from Wolves.
Oh, that's where Mosquera is from. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we are. Well, so MLS, they split it between the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. So FC Cincinnati, top of the Eastern Conference, and we are one point back.
You beat Inter Miami.
We beat David Beckham's Inter Miami. Put it to him, baby. Absolutely. So I'll say very proud of the orange and blue. Very proud of them. Top of the conference. Shout out to FC Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
All right,
boys.
That's going to do it. I know that's the update everybody's been waiting on, the MLS FC Cincinnati. So now that that's out of the way, Roomies, thank you so much for listening. We will see y'all next week.
Take care.
Bye.